What if I told you that the chaos of your life, the stress, the fear, the endless noise, is not a prison, but a forge? What if the very things that break you could rebuild you stronger, calmer, unshakable? Imagine waking up tomorrow with iron in your veins instead of doubt. How would your life change if you held the reins? Not your emotions, not your circumstances, but you. Here's the truth. You already have this power. Let me prove it. Think of the last time you were stuck in traffic, late for work, heart pounding, fists gripping the wheel. You screamed at red lights. You cursed the world. But what if, instead of rage, you chose stillness? What if you saw that traffic jam not as a thief of time, but as a chance to breathe, to observe, to reclaim your mind? That shift, that is Stoicism. Not denial, not numbness, control. To the warriors here today, welcome to Stoic Greetings. Look around. Thousands watch these videos, but only 0.2% subscribe. Why? Because greatness isn't for the crowd. It's for the few who dare to act. So, if you're ready to stop surviving and start mastering your life, hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, share. Join the 0.2%. This journey, it's not for spectators. For the next 90 days, we won't chase happiness. We'll hunt something far greater, inner sovereignty. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they didn't whisper sweet lies. They carved truths into stone. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your emotions? They're not your master. They're a wild horse, and you will learn to ride them. This is day one, the dawn of your rebirth. Over the next 90 days, we'll strip away weakness, hour by hour. We'll confront storms, not to suffer, but to command them. You'll fail. You'll rage. You'll want to quit. But when you rise on day 90, you won't recognize the person you once were. The clock is ticking. The path is clear. Are you ready to begin? You wake up. The world is loud. Those pile up. Someone insults you. Your plans collapse. Chaos, right? Wrong. What if I told you that none of these things are actually problems? That the chaos is not in the world, but in how you see it? The Stoics knew this secret. Your life is not shaped by events. It is shaped by the lens through which you view them. This is the first law of Stoicism. Master your perception, and you master your life. Let me tell you a story. Two men lose their jobs on the same day. The first man rages. This is a disaster. I'll never recover. The world is against me. The second man pauses. He breathes. Then he says, this is harsh, but not evil. What can I learn here? What doors might this open? Who suffers? Who grows? The difference isn't luck. It's perception. The first man sees a death sentence. The second sees a test. Both faced the same event. Only one chose freedom. This is the power Epictetus spoke of. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Your pain, your fear, your anger, they're not caused by the world. They're caused by the story you whisper to yourself about the world. Think of yesterday, that argument with your partner, that rude email, that moment you felt small, overlooked, disrespected. What if I told you none of those things have the power to hurt you? That the pain comes not from the act, but from your belief that it should not have happened? Seneca said it plainly. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. You clutch your wounds and scream, why me? But the Stoic asks, why not me? Disaster, insult, loss, these are not exceptions to life. They are life. The rain does not fall to spite you. The wind does not blow to ruin your plans. The world is not your enemy. It is your training ground. So how do we change the lens? First, separate fact from story. Your boss criticizes your work. Fact, words were spoken. Story, he hates me. I'm a failure. I'll get fired. The Stoic strips the story. They see raw facts. Feedback was given. Now what can I improve? No demons. No drama. Just clarity. Second, ask the Stoic question. Is this within my control? Traffic? No. Your rage? Yes. A pandemic? No. Your precautions? Yes. The past? No. Your response? Yes. Marcus Aurelius wrote in the dead of night, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not poetry. This is a weapon. Third, worship reality. The Stoic does not pray for an easy life. They pray for the strength to endure a hard one. Your spouse leaves you. Your business fails. Your body aches. These are not punishments. They are teachers. Harsh. Yes. Unfair. Maybe. But real. And what is real cannot be argued with, only faced. As the old Stoic saying goes, the obstacle is the way. The thing you hate becomes your path. The wound becomes your wisdom. I won't lie to you. This is hard, brutally hard, to stare at a bleeding wound and say, "This is my teacher?" To look at betrayal and whisper, "What lesson lies here?" It feels impossible, unnatural. But here's the truth. Nature designed you for this. You are not a leaf in the wind. You are a mind, a will, a soul capable of staring into the abyss and laughing. Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing pain. It's about transcending it. Seneca, who faced exile and death, wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Every time you reframe a crisis, you grow muscles in your soul. For the next 90 days, you will practice this. Not just think it, live it. When the coffee spills, you'll smile, a chance to practice calm. When someone insults you, you'll pause. Is this true? If so, improve. If not, laugh. When fear whispers, you'll fail, you'll answer, then I'll fail forward. This is not positivity. This is power. But be warned, the world will test you. It will throw every temptation to collapse into old stories. This is too hard. It's not fair. I can't. When that voice comes, and it will crush it. Remember the words of Epictetus, born a slave, tortured, yet unbroken. No man is free who is not master of himself. You are not here to like reality. You are here to command your corner of it. Tomorrow, we go deeper. The storm within, the hurricanes of anger, fear, and desire, waits. How do you tame what you cannot see? How do you conquer an enemy that wears your face? This is where most fail. This is where you will rise. The art of equanimity. You stand at the edge of a storm, not a storm of thunder or rain, but one that rages inside you. The kind that twists your gut when anger flares. The kind that claws at your chest when fear whispers. The kind that drowns your logic when desire screams. How many times have you lost battles to these invisible enemies? How many times have you sworn, never again, only to fall harder the next day? This is the war no one sees. The war you fight in silence. Let me ask you this. What if I told you these emotions, anger, fear, jealousy, lust, are not your enemies? That they are not monsters to kill, but wild horses to tame? What if I said the storm is not your curse, but your classroom? The Stoics did not run from their emotions. They did not hide in caves of numbness. They stood in the storm and said, "Teach me." Think of the last time you snapped. Maybe at a coworker, a child, a stranger. Heat rushed to your face. Words flew like daggers. Regret followed. Shame. Why can't I control myself? You hissed. But here's the truth. You can. You just forgot how. Let me tell you a story. A student once asked Seneca, "How do I stop anger from controlling me?" Seneca replied, "Do not seek to stop feeling anger. Seek to stop obeying it. Feel the fire, but do not let it burn your house down. Let the wave rise, but do not let it drag you into the depths." This is equanimity, not the absence of emotion, the mastery of it. How? First, pause. When insulted, the average man reacts like a puppet, yanked by strings of pride. The Stoic? They freeze. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3. In that silence, they ask, what is true here? What is false? What can I control? Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote this rule in his private journal. The first reaction, do nothing. Wait. Let the storm pass. Even kings must kneel to this law. Second, dissect the beast. Anger is not anger. It is a mask. Peel it. What lies beneath? Fear of disrespect? Insecurity? A wound from the past? Epictetus, the slave-turned-philosopher, said, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the opinions they form about them." Your rage is not about the traffic. It's about your story. This shouldn't be happening. But who made you ruler of the universe? Who promised you a world without friction? Third, replace the script. When your spouse ignores you and the old story whispers, "They don't love me," rewrite it. Perhaps they are tired. Perhaps I misread. Let me ask, when failure haunts you and the story screams, "I'm worthless," burn it. Right? This is data. Adjust. Try again. This is not denial. This is discipline. But here's where most fail. They want shortcuts. Give me 3 steps to calm down, they beg. But Stoicism is not a life hack. It is a rebirth. You want to master emotions? Then you must face them daily. Not in theory, in blood and bone. When your child spills paint on your laptop, breathe. When your friend betrays you, question. When anxiety whispers, "You'll never succeed," laugh. Zeno, founder of Stoicism, taught, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." Every time you choose calm over chaos, you carve a new path in your brain. A path that says, "I am not a slave. I am sovereign." Still you will fail. You'll scream at a loved one. You'll crumble under pressure. You'll let fear paralyze you. Good. Seneca wrote, "The path is not smooth. It is strewn with rocks. But those rocks are your teachers." Every failure is a mirror. Every relapse is a lesson. The question is not, will I fall, but will I rise again? A Stoic does not curse the dark. They light a candle. Let me be clear. This is not about becoming stone. It's about becoming fluid. Imagine a river. Storms strike. Winds howl. The river does not fight. It bends. It flows. It adapts. Yet, it never loses its essence. That is you. When chaos comes, you will feel the sting. You will tremble. You will doubt. But beneath it all, you will flow. Because you've trained your mind to bend, not break. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, wars, treason. Yet he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He did not say, "You will not feel." He said, "You will not obey." Now, the work begins. For the next 90 days, you will keep a journal. Every night, you'll ask, when did I lose control today? What story did I tell myself? How will I rewrite it tomorrow? You'll track the storms. You'll name the beasts. You'll starve the lies that fuel them. And slowly, so slowly you'll barely notice. The screams will become whispers. The fire will become warmth. The chaos will become clarity. But be warned, the world hates calm minds. It will bait you with gossip. It will tempt you with outrage. It will sell you fear like a drug. Your task? Stay sober. Epictetus warned. No thief can steal your will. No tyrant can chain your mind. They will try. Oh, they will try. But you'll smile. Because you've built a fortress they cannot touch. What's next? The battlefield shifts. You've faced the storms within. Now comes the fire without. The tests of pain, loss, and uncertainty. How do you walk through hell and not burn? That is where true power is forged. The forge of will. You've calmed the storms inside. You've trained your mind to see clearly. But now, the real test begins. What good is clarity if you don't act? What use is calm if you crumble at the first blow? The world does not reward thinkers. It rewards doers. Men and women who bend reality through sheer force of will. Let me ask you, how many times have you known what to do, but failed to do it? You vowed to wake up early, but hit snooze. You swore to eat better, but devoured shame. You promised to work harder, but drowned in distractions. Why? Because knowledge is not power. Action is. The Stoics did not sit on mountaintops meditating. They ruled empires. They faced exile. They led armies. They acted. And you will learn to do the same. Imagine a blacksmith. He doesn't pray for softer iron. He doesn't curse the fire. He swings his hammer. Again, again, again. The metal screams, but he doesn't flinch. He knows, without the strike, there is no blade. Without the heat, there is no strength. You are the blacksmith. Your will is the hammer. Every choice, every tiny, grinding choice, is a strike that shapes who you become. Epictetus, born in chains, said, "No great thing is created suddenly." You want courage? Forge it. You want discipline? Pound it. You want a life of meaning? Build it. But here's the trap. We wait for motivation. We wait for perfect days. We wait for the stars to align. Stop waiting. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire at war while writing philosophy at night. Did he wait for inspiration? For peace? For easy mornings? No. He rose anyway. He worked anyway. He acted, even when every bone screamed to quit. Motivation is a myth. Discipline is divinity. Let me break it down. Every morning, you face a choice, pillow or purpose. Hit snooze, and you feed weakness. Rise, and you feed strength. Every meal, you choose comfort or character. Every task, you decide distraction or destiny. These are not small choices. They are battles in the war for your soul. Win enough of them, and you become unstoppable. Lose them, and you join the masses who trade their dreams for excuses. Seneca warned, "It's not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it." You don't need more time. You need more courage to use the time you have. But how? First, start small. Start now. Don't vow to run a marathon tomorrow. Run one block. Today. Don't promise to never yell again. Pause once today. Breathe. Don't dream of changing your life. Change one habit. Now. The Stoics called this the doctrine of the mean. Tiny steps, repeated daily, forge titans. Second, embrace the grind. Zeno, founder of Stoicism, said, "Happiness is a flow of energy in alignment with nature." When you work, truly work, with focus and sweat, you become part of something eternal. The farmer tilling soil, the parent raising a child, the artist staining hands with paint. This is not suffering. This is sacred. Third, burn the bridges. Tell me, What's your escape hatch? Scrolling? Sugar? Self-pity? The Stoic smashes it. No more I'll try. Only I will. No more I can't. Only I must. No more someday. Only now. You think this is too harsh? Too extreme? Good. The world doesn't care about your comfort. It cares about your contribution. The Roman soldiers who built empires didn't whine about hard beds. The philosophers who changed history didn't beg for applause. They worked. They endured. They built. And you? You are no different. But let's be honest, you're afraid. Afraid of failure. Afraid of pain. Afraid that after all this effort, you'll still fall short. The Stoic smiles at this fear. Why? Because they know a secret. Action is the antidote to anxiety. When you move, when you do, fear loses its fangs. You realize the monster was made of paper. The chains were made of dust. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't let your imagination be crushed by life as a whole. Don't try to picture everything bad that could possibly happen. Stay with the situation at hand. Don't think about the mountain. Climb the rock in front of you. Still, you'll stumble. You'll skip a workout. You'll snap at a friend. You'll waste an hour. But here's the truth. The Stoic isn't perfect. They're persistent. When you fall, say, get up. When you fail, say, next time. When you weaken, say, stronger." Epictetus, who walked with a limp from his days in chains, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Your reaction? Keep moving. Now look ahead. The road is long. The days will blur. You'll forget why you started. So carve this into your soul. You are not here to exist. You are here to excel. Every choice, every act, every drop of sweat, it's all fuel for the fire. Seneca wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage." But you won't just live. You'll conquer. What's next? The world will throw its worst at you. Loss, betrayal, pain that cracks bones. But you'll stand. Not because you're unbreakable, because you've learned to bend and rise again. The crucible of adversity. You've learned to see clearly, to act boldly, to bend without breaking. But now the fire rises. This is where most fall, where dreams die, where excuses are born. Because life doesn't care how strong you think you are, it will test you, crush you, leave you gasping in the dirt. Let me ask you, what will you do when the unthinkable happens? When the job vanishes? When the diagnosis comes? When the person you love walks away? Will you collapse like paper in rain? Or will you stand, scorched but unbroken, and say, "Is that all you've got?" The Stoics didn't just face adversity. They invited it. Seneca, exiled to a barren island, wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." You are that gem, and life, it is the grindstone. Think of the hardest moment of your life. That night you sobbed alone. That rejection that hollowed your chest. That failure that made you question everything. What if I told you that moment was not your enemy, but your ally? That the pain you ran from was the very thing meant to awaken you? Here's the truth no one wants to hear. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Safety is the cage of the soul. You don't find strength in victory. You find it in the dirt, in the blood, in the moments you're certain you can't go on, but do. Marcus Aurelius, who buried 8 children and ruled an empire crumbling to plague, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That obstacle you hate, that pain you fear, that is your path. Walk it. But how? First, stop running. You've spent years dodging pain, numbing it with screens, distracting it with noise, burying it under excuses. But the Stoic knows. Pain chased is pain multiplied. Turn. Face it. Let it burn. A soldier does not become fearless by avoiding battle. He becomes fearless by staring into the eyes of death and charging anyway. Your adversity? It is your battle, your chance to earn courage. Second, mind the lesson. Every blow carries a secret. Every loss holds a gift. Lose your job? What did I tie my worth to? Betrayed by a friend? What boundaries did I ignore? Struck by illness? What truly matters? Epictetus, a crippled slave, said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Adversity doesn't create character, it reveals it. And what's revealed can be reshaped. Third, feed the flame. The world says, avoid suffering. The Stoic says, suffer better. When the storm hits, and it will, don't beg for calm. Ask, what can I control? Then act. One step, one breath, one decision. A ship doesn't survive the hurricane by cursing the wind. It adjusts its sails. It steers. It endures. Let me tell you about Cato, a Roman senator who chose death over surrender. When his enemies stabbed him, he didn't scream. He didn't plead. He tore open his wounds and laughed as he bled out. Why? To prove that even death could not break his will. You are not Cato. You don't need to die to prove your strength. But you do need to live like every challenge is a dagger testing your resolve. Will you bleed, or will you laugh? Still, this is not about martyrdom, not about glorifying pain. It's about alchemy, turning lead into gold. Your darkest hour is not a curse. It's a crucible, a sacred fire where weakness is burned away, and what remains? You, the unshakable, unbreakable core you didn't know existed. Seneca wrote, "Fire tests gold. Adversity tests the brave." You've spent days preparing. Now step into the flames. But be warned, the world will call you a fool. Why suffer when you can quit? Why fight when you can hide? Why endure when you can numb? Ignore them. They've traded their spines for cushions, their fire for flickers. You're here to live, not just breathe. Marcus Aurelius warned, you could leave life right now. Let that decide what you do and say and think. If today were your last, would you cower? Or would you rise, scars and all, and shout, "I lived well"? Here's your task. For the next 90 days, when pain comes, and it will, you'll greet it like an old teacher. You'll ask, what are you here to show me? How will this forge me? What strength lies dormant here? No more running. No more hiding. No more lies. But remember, this is not the end. The road ahead twists darker. The storms grow colder. The nights longer. How do you keep burning when the world tries to snuff your light? How do you hold hope when all seems lost? That is where legends are born. The mirror of reflection. You've walked through fire. You've bled. You've risen. But here's the question no one asks. How do you know you're growing? How do you measure progress when the path is dark and the storms never end? You don't. Not unless you look back. Not unless you stare into the mirror of your past and ask, who was I? Who am I becoming? The Stoics didn't wait for applause. They didn't beg for trophies. They kept journals. They tracked their falls. They measured growth not in victories, but in seconds added to their pause before reacting, in inches gained in patience, in ounces of fear conquered. This is the silent work, the unglamorous grind, the art of looking inward and telling the truth. Let me ask you, when was the last time you truly looked at yourself? Not in a bathroom mirror, but in the mirror of your actions? That day you yelled at your child. The night you drowned in self-pity. The moment you chose laziness over purpose. These are not failures. They are data. Raw, brutal, essential. The Stoic doesn't flinch at this data. They study it. They learn. They adapt. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. You want growth? Then you must face the parts of yourself that shame you. The coward, the liar, the hypocrite. Shine light on them, or they'll rule you forever." Here's how it works. Every night, you sit with a blank page. You ask, where did I act with courage today? Where did I let fear win? What story did I tell myself, and was it true? This is not a diary. This is a courtroom. You are both the accused and the judge. No mercy, no lies, no sugarcoating. Marcus Aurelius did this. Emperor of Rome, he wrote letters to himself. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. No excuses. No audience. Just raw accountability. But here's where most fail. They judge themselves harshly, not honestly. They scream, "I'm weak. I'm worthless. I'll never change." The Stoic whispers, "I stumbled. Why? How do I adjust?" This is the difference between self-hatred and self-mastery. One drowns you. The other frees you. Let me tell you a story. A student once asked Seneca, "How do I stop repeating mistakes?" Seneca replied, "Do not condemn yourself. Analyze yourself." The student kept failing. He'd skip his meditations. He'd lose his temper. He'd vow to do better, then fail again. One day, he brought his journal to Seneca. The pages were filled with "I failed. I'm weak. I'm hopeless." Seneca took a blade and sliced the journal in half. "Start over," he said. "Write not what you are, but what you did." The student wrote, "Today, I yelled at my servant. Why? Because I felt disrespected. Was that true? No. I was hungry. I acted like a child." That shift, that is the mirror. Not, "I am bad, but I did bad." How? Your turn. For the next 90 days, you'll do this. Not once a week. Every single night. You'll track the moments you chose courage over comfort, the seconds you paused before reacting, the lies you sold yourself, and the truth you bought instead. You'll find patterns, triggers, excuses dressed as reasons. And slowly, so slowly it will ache, you'll start to see. The day you didn't snap at criticism, growth. The hour you worked despite exhaustion, strength. The minute you laughed at fear, freedom. But beware, this mirror does not lie. It will show you wrinkles of doubt, scars of laziness, shadows of old habits. You want to look away, to smash the glass, to cling to delusions of grandeur. Don't, Seneca warned. The worst punishment of all is to be judged by your own soul. Face the reflection, clean the wounds, keep moving. Here's the secret no one tells you. Growth isn't linear. You'll climb for days, then tumble back. You'll master a fear, then birth a new one. You'll think, "I've changed," then meet the same old ghost in a new mask. This is not failure. This is humanity. The Stoic doesn't seek perfection. They seek progress. A 1% better version each dawn. A 1% wiser version each dusk. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." What color is yours? Red with rage? Gray with apathy? Or gold with grit? Now the hardest truth. You will never arrive. There's no finish line, no certificate, no parade. But here's the beauty. The man who chases greatness doesn't need applause. The woman who builds discipline doesn't crave trophies. The reward is in the work, in the war, in the whispers of your soul saying, "I am better today than I was yesterday." What's next? You've seen your reflection. You've named your demons. Now comes the final ascent, aligning your life with virtue. Not the world's virtue, not religion's virtue, your virtue. The code that turns a life of chaos into a legacy of light. But be warned, the world will fight you. It hates those who live by principle. Will you bend, or will you burn bright? The final trial. You've mastered perception, tamed emotions, forged will, survived fire, measured growth, lived by virtue. But now, the ultimate test comes. The one every soul fears. The one no philosophy can fully prepare you for. The test that separates the students from the masters. What is it? Death. Not physical death, though that looms for us all, but the death of who you were. The death of the old stories. The death of the person who once believed they were weak, small, unworthy. The death that must come for the truest version of you to rise. Let me ask you, are you ready to bury your former self? To stand at the edge of everything you've ever known and leap? The Stoics did not fear death. They rehearsed it, meditated on it, wrote about it daily. Why? Because they knew, to live fully, you must die daily. Kill the lies. Burn the masks. Bury the versions of you that cling to comfort over truth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This is not morbid. This is liberation. Imagine this. You're handed a letter. It says you have 1 year left to live. What changes? Do you finally quit the job you hate? Do you repair the broken relationship? Do you create the art that's clawed at your soul for years? Or do you freeze, paralyzed by the weight of too late? The Stoic smiles at this letter, not because they're reckless, because they've already lived this way. Every single day. Seneca warned, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. You waste time chasing trivial things while ignoring the ticking clock." But what if today were your last? Would you waste it on anger, on envy, on mindless scrolling? Or would you live fiercely? Here's the truth. Your final trial is not some distant catastrophe. It's now. The choices you make today, the courage you withhold, the love you delay. The Stoics called this memento mori. Remember, you must die. Not to scare you, but to awaken you, to crush complacency, to force your hand. Epictetus, who faced death as a slave, said, "Death is a release from the impressions of the senses, from the puppet strings of desires, from the vagaries of the mind." You fear death because you fear losing control. But what if death is the ultimate teacher of control? But how do you confront this? First, let the old self die. That version of you who needs approval, let it rot. The one who craves luxury, starve it. The one who fears rejection, bury it. This is not a metaphor. This is war. Every morning, you must ask, what part of me needs to die today? Then kill it. Without apology. Without regret. Second, live your eulogy. When you're gone, what will they say? He had a nice car. She worked long hours. Or he lived with honor. She loved without limits. Write your eulogy now. Then live backward from it. Let your actions today become the legacy of tomorrow. Third, embrace the void. There will come a moment, maybe today, maybe in decades, when you face the abyss. When all your philosophies, your strategies, your strength mean nothing. In that moment, the Stoic does not pray for more time. They whisper, "I lived." Not, "I lived perfectly." Not, "I lived without pain." Just, "I lived." But here's the rub. You don't need a diagnosis, a near-death experience, a tragedy. You need only this moment. Right now, close your eyes. Feel your heartbeat, the air in your lungs. the hum of life in your veins. This is your power. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. Now, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Perfection of character is this, to live each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense. No theatrics, no bucket lists, just presence. Still you'll resist. You'll say, 'I'll change tomorrow.' You'll bargain, 'Just let me get through this week.' You'll lie, 'I have time.' The Stoic? They carve these lies from their tongue. They know you are not promised tomorrow. You are gifted now. A soldier on the battlefield doesn't say, 'I'll fight later.' He fights, or he dies. Your battlefield is your mind. Your enemy is procrastination. Your weapon is action. So what's your move? Will you keep waiting for a sign? For permission? For someday? Or will you rise today, right now, and declare, 'This is my life, and I will live it'?" Seneca wrote, "Life is long if you know how to use it, but most squander it. They sleepwalk. They regret. They exist. You've walked through fire to get here. You've earned the right to live. But the trial isn't over. The final question remains. When death comes, will you greet it as a friend? As the ultimate teacher? As the final test of your stoic resolve? Or will you rage? The answer lies in how you live today. What's next? The journey nears its end. The phoenix must rise from the ash. But rebirth is not for the timid. It demands everything. Are you ready to burn, one last time? The Stoic Phoenix. 90 days ago, you stood at the edge of a cliff. The old you, the one ruled by fear, slaves to comfort, choked by excuses, waited to jump. You hesitated. You trembled. But then you leaped. Not into the abyss. Into the fire. And now, look at what remains. The ashes of your old self are still warm. The person who once broke under pressure? Gone. The one who begged life to be easier? Burned away. What's left is something harder, truer, unbreakable. You are not who you were. You are the phoenix. And this is your dawn. Let me ask you, what does freedom feel like? Is it the absence of pain? The end of struggle? The guarantee of peace? No. Freedom is the roar of knowing nothing. Not failure, not loss, not even death, can extinguish your will. Freedom is waking up each day and saying, "Let the storm come. I am ready." The Stoics did not seek freedom from life. They sought freedom within it. Seneca, who took his own life under tyranny's order, wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." You've earned this, not by avoiding storms, but by learning to dance in the rain. But this is not the end. Rebirth is not a trophy. It's a responsibility. That coworker who tests your patience, they are your mirror. That stranger drowning in despair, they are your charge. That world riddled with chaos, it is your duty to shine. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire but wrote, "What is not good for the swarm is not good for the bee." You are the bee. The swarm is humanity. Your peace means nothing if you hoard it. Your strength is worthless if you don't lift others. This is Stoicism's final law. Virtue is not a prize. It's a practice. So what now? You'll face new storms, deeper fears, heavier weights. But the difference? You'll laugh at them, not because you're naive, because you've already survived your own hell. When doubt whispers, "You can't," you'll answer, "Watch me." When pain screams, "Stop," you'll growl, "Again." When the world says, "Break," you'll smile, "Try me." Epictetus, the crippled slave, said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." You said it. Now live it. But let's be clear. The phoenix does not rise once. It rises daily. You'll forget. You'll slip. You'll taste the ashes of old habits. When that happens, when, not if, remember this moment. The moment you chose rebirth. The moment you realized, fall 7 times. Rise 8. The farmer does not curse the drought. He plants again. The sailor does not fear the wave. He sails again. The Stoic does not mourn the fall. He rises again. Here's your covenant. Every morning, you'll ask, who do I choose to be today? Every night, you'll answer, someone better. You'll fail, but you'll never stay failed. You'll hurt, but you'll never be hurt. You'll die 1,000 deaths, but you'll rise 1,000 times. The world needs you. Not the old you, the one who played small. The phoenix, the warrior, the beacon, that friend lost in darkness. Guide them, that child watching your every move. Inspire them, that voice inside begging for courage. Answer them. Seneca wrote, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. Your training never ends. Your fire never dies. Your duty never sleeps. 90 days ago, you began this journey alone. Today, you join a legion. The legion of Zeno, who built a philosophy in the ruins of his shipwreck. The legion of Marcus Aurelius, who ruled with a pen in one hand and a sword in the other. The legion of every soul who ever stared into the void and said, no further. You are not alone. You are Stoic. And so, the final question, was it worth it? The 4 a.m. risings. The journals stained with truth. The tears. The rage. The relentless grind. Look in the mirror. The answer stares back. The eyes once clouded with fear, now sharp. The shoulders once hunched under doubt, now straight. The voice once trembling, now steady, unshakable. You did not just change your life. You earned it. Farewell and begin. This is not an ending. It's an anthem. Take these 90 days. Let them bleed into 900. Then 9,000. Let them become your life. And when your final breath comes, decades from now, let it find you smiling. Not because you lived without pain, but because you lived